Una mano tomba zamba.
Hello televiewers, good evening and welcome to today's edition of Prime R on my media, Prime Broadcasting live from Douala, the nation's economic capital. On this edition of the program, we are going to be looking at the growing love-related deaths amongst Cameroonians, especially in and out of this country. There is a growing trend in Cameroon, but we also are recording cases out of this nation. We also are going to be looking at a phenomenon that is raising concerns about many persons, where young ladies today are using love relationships as employment or a steady source of income. We are going to see what love relationship is all about and what it takes to enjoy a relationship, why not marriage. We are going to be looking at a phenomenon also where many young girls have the urge to wanting to live the life they see and read on social and mainstream media, especially what is portrayed in different soaps, commonly known as a series. We are discussing these three key aspects of the life of young ladies and also the mature ones with someone who is an influencer who has a very, very great following on social media. They call her Daily Singer. She is one of Cameroon's biggest influencers based in the United Kingdom. She has been on this program on several occasions. Once again this evening, she's going to be shedding light on these key three topics chosen to also help educate young girls who are going to be opportune to watch this edition of Prime R. Delhi, good evening. We're glad to have you once again on Prime R.
Good evening. Good evening, Mr. Leo. Good evening, my Media Prime TV crew. Good evening, televiewers. Good evening to every one of you watching me. Good evening, my delicious. I'm glad to be back, man. It's been a minute, and I'm happy to be here. I'm looking forward to us having a great time together.
We're starting with ladies increasingly using relationships as employment or source of income. When we see this happening in our communities, is it to say that we have fallen short of the knowledge of what a love relationship is all about, or we need a redefinition and understanding of what it takes to engage in a relationship with a lady as a man and a man as a woman?
I think, like you've rightly said, we need a redefinition of what love is. It's a lot of people singing, writing, talking about love, but the essence of it is far from us. Like, we are doing every other thing that is not love. So whatever we are doing and calling it love, and that's the reason why we are having the crazy outcomes we're having. You know, I'm hoping that we take our time to break these things down, and for those especially young women who are listening, to understand exactly what love is and how to go about it. So yes, there is a huge problem with the definition of love and what it entails, that we as a people fail to understand, and hence the reason for the many havocs that are happening.
Yes, but what, according to you, is considered as love for most guys and for most women? When they say we are into a love relationship, what actually is their understanding of what they are into?
Well, I would say that from the aftermath of whatever they get engaged in, you can clearly tell that it's all a game of interest. So the men want sex, the women want money. So it's more of a business, it's an exchange like that, and then it ends the way we see it, you know. And I think that, well, based on the cases that I handle on the platform, I've noticed that women get into it looking for somebody to rescue them out, more like a poverty alleviation scheme like that. That's what they want. That's what they are looking for. You know, they're not looking for potentials. They're not looking for a future. They're not looking for a vision, a proper vision. They're not looking for the content. They are looking for what they can grab immediately. You know, what they can get with, what they can get from it, or what they can have that can transform their own lives, as in terms of you know, monetary value. So yeah, that's it. The men on the other side, I think it's become a thing now. It's all about sex. Or I want a woman that I can lay with. I want a woman that I can sleep with. Or the criteria, or the main criterion of choosing a woman is the one that is good with mathematics, and that is it. And this accounts for why we have the catastrophic, you know, and the disastrous endings that we're having in relationships. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, but now women are going for money. Men are going for sex, but what, according to you, should such relationships look like? We're talking about a love relationship. What should we be looking out for when we make up our minds that we are in love and we want to be with somebody? How should such relationships look like?
I think that the goal of you should have a goal for a goal getting into a relationship. So it means different things to different people. However, looking at our context, our setup, when you're getting into a relationship, you should be able to look at the person's content, what the person can offer in terms of character, what the person can offer in terms of complementing you, what the person can offer in terms of being compatible with you. You know, I think that this is exactly where we miss out on. So when you're getting into a relationship, I think this is relationship 101. Getting into a relationship, we'll look out for compatibility or suitability. My mentor says suitability. I say compatibility, but at the end of the day, we understand exactly what we're saying. So if you're getting into a relationship, first of all, what is the goal? What do I want? I think I need to let's go down this lane of defining, more like purposefully analyzing it. In any other thing, not just a relationship, I need to put this down, and I hope that somebody can benefit from it, because it can work for relationships, it could work for businesses, it could work for just about anything. So first of all, the question you should ask yourself is what? What do I want as a person? This has nothing even to do with the other person. What do I want as a person? If you're able to answer that question, when do I want what I want? When do I want? The question of when do I want it? When do I want it to manifest? That's a question of time. Where do I want it to happen? The question of location. Then we have with whom. That's the person that I want to partner with. That's the person I want to accomplish the what with. With whom? For whom? The person that is going to benefit from what? My what? For whom? Then we have the key one, which is the how, and that is the strategy. Now, I say this, I always say I purposefully define anything. It could be business, it could be relationship, it could be just about anything. And if you ask yourself this, it's quite straightforward. Usually 7 questions to ask. So if you answer this question, what do I want? I want a man to get married to, for instance. When do I want to get married? Where do I want to get married? With whom do I want to get married? For whom? Meaning the benefits, in fact, the people who stand to benefit, or the things that will come along with it, and then how the strategy. If you can answer this question, you would have purposefully defined what a relationship is all about, and then understanding. Now, it starts first with self, understanding who you are before you can answer all of these things, and then get somebody to come compliment you. Just like I said in our previous talk, I don't know if those of you who are listening to me understand or remember exactly what I said. So, hey, conclusively on this, you get to understand who you are as a person and then purposefully define what you're about to get into. So yeah, I hope I answered the question.
Yes, you answered it to some extent, but now when persons get into a relationship and going by the definition you've given, we're talking about love here. If you can really understand a love, is it really love when you have to say, I want to profile this person, I have to understand this? Isn't a love something that is spontaneous? Isn't it a feeling?
Love is much more than that. That's the problem we have.
Okay.
We have yeah, love is much more than that. Love is not just a feeling. It's more than that. It's more intense. So if you have to, you cannot, first of all, love somebody without loving yourself. You have to be in tune with yourself. You have to understand who you are. You have to understand what you want. So how do you love somebody when you cannot give what you don't have? I mean, in essence, you can't give what you don't have. So it starts from, like we say, self-love starts from within you. So when you have properly loved yourself, then you can identify what looks like what you have within. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So if I love myself and I'm in tune with myself and I'm passionate and I'm sold out to my being, when I see some other person out there who looks like what resonates with me, I can now, the compatibility, that's where the compatibility steps in. But if you don't love yourself, you will have a messed up definition of love. So what anybody tells you, you will pick it up like that is love. So it is not just a feeling. It is like you say, oh, it is love. Love is a very active word. It is very active. So it could be a verb, it could be an adjective, and it could be a noun. So it starts with being a noun. Me, I am love. I am love. Before I love the next person that is coming, being an adjective or being a verb, that is, I am loving this person. I don't know if you understand. I don't want to use too many words to complicate it. But I'm saying that it starts with you understanding you, loving you, before you can make the right decision. Otherwise, anybody that comes to you and tells you they love you, you would fall for it for the very wrong reasons. Yeah.
You fall for it for the very wrong reason. Deli, why do many ladies tend to depend on lovers for almost everything? Should men pay for because they love somebody? That is, you fall in love with a lady and then you have to pay for loving them. What services are they giving? And if you are paying for a relationship, a love relationship, how different is that relationship from a prostitute that you pay?
I always say something that prostitution nowadays has been, I don't know if it's underrated.
It's been modernized.
Well, I was saying something before I come to that. It's a lot of people prostituting nowadays. It's a lot of women prostituting, men as well. However, some are just in the private sector while others are in the public sector. Yeah, because prostitution is giving yourself for money. It's paying for sex. That's it, literally. So the people in the private sector, they literally do this as well. They go out there, sleep with a man, the man gives the money, or they sleep with men, they give the money, they come back. You just don't see it. And then there are women who stand on the street, and then we call those ones prostitute. That's why I said private sector and public sector is a lot of people into prostitution. And as long as you have to monetize your body for whatever reason, is prostitution. So yeah, now we can begin to do the maths and ask yourself if you are a prostitute or not. So coming back to this, why are women doing this? It is value system for starters. I would say it takes somebody who has a very low value system, first of all, lack of self-love for themselves, who would offer themselves, who would think that they can put a price tag on themselves. If you understand what self-love is and you understand who you are and you understand all of what you represent, you would understand that there's no amount of money that can buy you. But if there's some amount of money that can buy you, it already tells you that your value system is messed up. So it starts with your value system. These people prostituting have very, very low values for themselves. They have a low self-esteem. They have a low way they look at themselves. Their values about life, their conception about life is messed up. So it starts from there. And that's why it's okay for the highest bidder or whoever cares to, to pay for what they can offer to get with them, And then there's economic empowerment, which is for the most part not taught to women, And I say this, but I need to balance that because our African culture is in such a way that we understand the place of a man in a woman's life, maritally speaking, The African culture, and even biblically speaking, the man is the provider. So the man is meant to provide for the family, provide for the home, provide for the children, provide for all of these things. So the women, African women especially, have the mindset of, I collect. I am going to collect from the man. I am going to collect from the man. So that is it. Even when you are not married to, you have this sense of entitlement, like the man is supposed to give to me, supposed to give. And you in return, when you ask yourself, especially when you don't have a value or you're not very endowed and all of that, what you can give, the most thing or the most that you have that is precious to you in exchange for what this man will give is sex. So we understand that. So this is exactly what is happening. Women are not taught how to empower themselves to a considerable extent, and it's become enough for them to rely on the men. Now, how do I balance both? Am I saying that men should not provide for women? No. I mean, like I said, our value system, our culture stipulates that the man is the provider. Now, understand that they're talking about a man in marriage. We're not talking about a man in relationships or you just meet him. It is just because the default of a man would normally protect and provide for a woman. That's his default position, whether or not. So it's easy for a man to provide for a woman whether or not they're in a relationship. It's easy for a man to run to help out a woman. It's easy for a man to, do all of those things to entice a woman because it's his default position. Understand that. So now, but women take it for granted, forgetting to know that this is meant to be in the setup of marriage. A man owes you nothing but respect. I mean, a man owes you nothing but respect as long as you are not married to that person. You are expected to fend for yourself, to economically empower yourself, to do all of what you have to do as a single woman without relying on a man. Whatever a man gives you should be a plus, but it is not the case. Like I said, we have confused exactly the place of a boyfriend and a husband. So now we are struggling to play husband and wife duties at boyfriend prices. What do I mean by this? So you're offering sex to a man when you're supposed to be giving that to a boyfriend, when you're supposed to be giving that to your husband. You're offering financial gains and all of these to a lady when you're supposed to be giving it to your wife. So the confusion in all of these has made us get to this point, and I'm happy we're having this conversation. Okay, so let me not take all of your questions.
Yeah, but now, yeah. Delhi, you talked about low self-esteem, but we have so many ladies who want to brand themselves, riding podcasts, live in beautiful apartments, also to raise their value so that whosoever is coming for them should weigh their pockets before even talking to them. That is, ladies today brand themselves, except you are not aware of that.
No, I am very much aware of it, okay. What you're saying. And that's why I said at the beginning that we have low-key prostitutes. This is, like I always say, we might as well just use the terms that apply to this. Sometimes we say women who have just packaged themselves. No, it's prostitution. Straightforward prostitution, outrightly prostitution. So you might as well rephrase the question to say the private prostitution that is done, or the private prostitutes who put themselves on a pedestal. Yeah, I mean, in every business, there's levels to this shit. So whatever people brand themselves, so a prostitute would brand themselves and say, oh, I have just, boutiques, I'm dealing with just ministers, I'm dealing with that. So just so we understand that the fact that you're dating this person and driving in that car doesn't exempt you from the prostitution we're talking about. I need us to understand this, because sometimes we have gotten to the level where we forget that, hey, this is the means through which I'm making this money. I am sleeping with men or a man to get this money. And now these younger ones who are maybe having 500 francs and 1,000 francs from their little boyfriends, asking them to give them money before that, they are just upcomers. And what they're looking at you, and that is their role model, and they're targeting and they're hoping to get to that level where they can sleep with a man and he gets to $1 million per night. You get what I'm saying? And that's their goal. No. So yes, yeah.
Delhi, if a man has to pay your rent, pay for almost everything that pertains to your financial needs in return of your love and attention, do we call that a love relationship? Or we are ignorantly thinking that we are in a love relationship?
Everything that a man gives you is a plus. You are supposed to be working like he's working. We're all single and fending for ourselves. So whatever he gives you is a plus. Now, if you see that as a plus, you will not rely on it. Your self-esteem will not be dependent on whatever he's going to give you. How much you love him will not be dependent on what he is giving to you. And this goes to the other side as well. That you love her is not dependent on the amount of sex that she gives to you. I love you even when there's nothing I've gotten from you. This is what I was talking about the agape. The standard of love that we're supposed to have is not erotic, as in I'm feeling for you, the feeling, like you said, feeling. I feel butterflies, because that's erotic love. The love we're expected to have is the agape love. And that's the standard with which Christ loved the church and gave himself even while we were yet sinners. It means that there was hardly anything that Christ was benefiting from the church when he loved the church. And that's the standard. So if your love is dependent on the material things that you have to get and the perfection of the person, it just tells you don't love the person. You're infatuated. That's why English is very clear on this. There are loads of words we can use. You are infatuated, you are lost, but it is hardly love. Just so we do not get confused with most of these things.
Okay, it is hardly love, but when you are with a lady and you're living with her and paying her, and she claims to love you, where did we get it wrong, especially for women who think that now love at the chop? So when they call, when they ask men to stand up, you also stand up when you cannot provide for my needs. Almost every lady thinks that the man is supposed to take care of them. Where did we learn that from?
Like I said, it is okay and very scriptural for a man to provide for a woman in the context of marriage and our African tradition. We learned that from history. We learned that from scripture. We learned that from our culture. But this is in the context of marriage. Now, women, like we said, there's always a photocopy version or there's a word I'm looking for. There's always the fake. So, like I said, husband and wife duties are boyfriend prizes. So this is what is supposed to be done in marriage that we have now taken and diluted. In fact, we're replicating it in relationships, which is not supposed to be like that. Now, women have now gotten overboard and they are exaggerating. Now, it's okay to want a man who can provide financially, because that's a thing. It doesn't just give boosts the man's self-esteem. So understand that sometimes when women are looking for a man who can provide financially, it is first of all even for the man. Because you as a man, your self-esteem would hardly be up when you cannot even provide for your own self. Talk more of being able to provide for another person. But I keep insisting that is in the context of marriage. Now, if you as a young woman, you're looking for that particular aspect in a husband, then it's understood. Because yes, he's supposed to be the leader. Yes, he's supposed to be the provider. Yes, he's supposed to be all of that. But guess what? Nowadays, women are not looking for that. They just want a man that would either step up their game, as in their lifestyle, or maintain it. So if you meet those in the private sector who are already living a very ostentatious life and all of that, they're expecting you as their boyfriend to match up with that standard. Then if you meet now the ones who are clearly public sector, they are looking for an upgrade. So like I said, this is the confusion that has been set up, and the young ones keep learning from the older ones and thinking that's the norm. And remember that when something has gone on continuously over and over and over, it becomes a norm, it becomes a standard, it just becomes like a culture. And before long you adopt it, and then you cannot even trace where this is coming from. But like I said, this is just like a photocopy of what God's original intent for marriage, and they're using it at boyfriend and girlfriend prices. Yeah,
but no. Then why would many ladies be rushing to getting these rich guys who can take care of them instead of looking up for opportunities to be to be independent, financially independent? The absence, scarcity of jobs or scarcity of finances that is pushing so many girls to wanting to be dependent completely on guys, especially the rich guys.
First of all, categorically, they are lazy. Let's face it. They are lazy. You know, it takes. I always say that. Yeah, there are lots of reasons why people prostitute, and one of the major ones is laziness. Because the excuses they would give as to why they are prostituting, there are other ladies out there who have gone through worse and they're not prostituting. So you ask yourself why. I've talked about value system, and I'm talking about you outrightly being lazy. And let's face it, it's the easy way out for most people. If you're lazy, you just want a man to sleep with you. How long does that take? You know, 1 round, 2 rounds, you've made 5,000. Ooh, and you're thinking, if I have to do this over and over, I can make more money. So it's the easy way out, which is, of course, because of laziness. So it is most women who do this are lazy. And they have a messed up value system, categorically. Yeah.
Okay, these ladies are lazy and would not want to work. They think that getting married to, staying with a man and depending on him is the best. But when you love based on needs and satisfaction, what happens when these needs are no longer can no longer be met? Because you are with this guy, you profess love for him from morning till night because he's providing for you. He may just go broke any day, any time. And what happens? How do you match up with the love that you have been professing all these years? And you have been talking about prostitution. Are you saying that many of our sisters who are living out here claiming to be in relationships are actually prostituting?
Exactly. That's what I said. And I keep insisting on that. That yes, many of our sisters out there are prostituting. That's the word I use, and I'm not blinking on that. Yes, they're openly prostituting.
Okay.
Yeah, because they are selling their bodies for what they're going to get. And they could sell it for the highest bidder. And the worst part of it is that you never accomplish, you're never fulfilled. Because there's always going to be a higher person out there. Now, understand, women now have forgotten, some women, a lot of women, have forgotten the role they should be playing in having this money. So we're not saying that no, that's not what we're saying. We're not saying that, I mean, if you love somebody, love is giving. You would give to the person. But that's an aftermath of what is happening. That's a consequence not actually the cause. So money should not be your motivating factor. So you love, like I think I've demonstrated that already. Now I need us to understand something. I say this from my heart. I think that the government of Cameroon, and for the stakeholders, if any of them are listening to me, I think we have really, really downplayed, undermined the effect that the crisis has had on our women, on us all, women in particular. I think we fail to quantify it. I have been privileged to speak with a lot of women, IDPs, those who have been displaced, and the things they have been they've managed to do because of the crisis. Now, if we sit here and we talk about all of these things and say, oh, they're lazy, have a messed up value system, and all of that, without factoring in one of the major causes, we'll be lying through our teeth. And I had to use this opportunity to appeal to the stakeholders, the government of Cameroon, the people that be, the people listening to me, those are in positions that matter, to understand that we just, the war has just come, it's done all of what it's done, and we really downplay it. We really downplay it. The number of women who have become prostitutes in the course of this war cannot be overemphasized. We talk on them on a daily basis. As a country, they first of all need a therapy. That's you and I. I mean, I'm talking about you and I, Mr. Leo, and the rest of Cameroonians. We need to undergo therapy. We need to undergo psychological first aid, how it's called. It's a course I studied, and I understand that talks about the aftermath of war, one of which is this side, the prostitution that young girls are doing. We've had this royal exodus, we've had this civil war, and people have migrated, go to places where they can barely even fend. And they get to meet with all sorts of strangers, and to survive, they have to sell themselves. Sometimes at gunpoint, other times for survival. I don't want to take up this bit, but am I encouraging that? No, I'm just saying that I think that while we are doing all of the national dialogue and all of that, can we begin to factor in how to psychologically treat or emotionally, psychologically balance up what has been lost? And let me use the perfect example so that people can understand. It's like you're driving on a road like 70 miles an hour. I hope I didn't go off.
Yes, you're on. Just go on.
Am I on? You're driving on the road 70 miles and you have an accident, 70 miles an hour, 80 miles, 100. And you think about it, the accident, and you've broken your bones. You can barely even, some people have gone unconscious. Some people have died in that process. And then somebody comes, maybe first aid, and tells you, you know what, it's okay. You get over it. It's fine. Just pick up and you get it. Can you begin to imagine? Now that we quantify it, that looks tangible because you can see it, you can feel it, you can see blood, you can see broken bones. Now this is exactly the same thing that has happened to a lot and all of us psychologically. And the government cannot just say, wake up and it's going to be okay and fend for it. There has to be therapy. Otherwise, we are going to have more and more of these cases of young women prostituting because they want to make ends meet. This on its own is a topic for another day. I just had to get this in just so that we do not underplay what has been happening, because there's a lot of our sisters who have found themselves in tight corners, and the only way out was that hey, I'm not encouraging that. I just wanted to balance it up to say that, can we begin to, when we're dialoguing and the government is saying we're coming, the things you're doing, all of those big things and big grammar might not really, we might not even be understanding it. All the complexities might not even be up to, it's not at our level. But what some of us as influencers are crying and saying, whatever you do, make provision for psychological first aid for young Cameroonians especially. Otherwise, the disaster is just beginning.
Delhi, this attitude of girls depending on men for money and their survival, has it got an impact on their future as married ladies and men? Because when you put up a character for so long, so many men also get scared and may really not want to have anything to do with women. I've had many persons write to me that, Mr. Leo, please, I don't want to have anything to do with any woman, because once you get engaged in a relationship with them, the first thing that comes is money, 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 money. And some of these ladies end up scaring men and end up themselves not getting married.
It's true. It's true for the most part. Like I said, sometimes we downplay consequences of our actions. We tend to downplay it. What you've just said, it's a phenomenon that has gone on, and it's like the man who spoke to you is just one of the millions of men out there who are beginning to shy away from not just relationships but marriage. Now, marriage is becoming something for a man that is not very profitable. And now this is a conversation that I think we should really have. Men are beginning to look at marriage like it's not really profitable. Now, statistically, about 85% of divorces are initiated by women. Now, when divorces are initiated by women, especially in this part of the world, let me use that in this part of the world, because, again, I use that in this part of the world because our African brothers and sisters and those of us who have been here, we've copied the customs of these people, and it's becoming our lifestyle. Like, just like you said, when we do it continuously, it becomes a lifestyle. Now, these many women are asking for divorces. Now, men are asking themselves, you think about it. So if you're getting into any business, let's call it this a business transaction. So you're a man, I'm getting into a business with a woman, and then you're not gotten into it. Now, this is just evaluation. I am asking myself, if I get into this business, statistically, it shows that the business will end up crashing, for starters. Secondly, the woman would take more of everything that we've worked for. And there is a chance it's going to crumble me in the process. Now, would you want to get into that kind of business? Now, this translates to what we have in nowadays as marriage and relationships. There's a lot of men out there who sit and consider the fact that if I get married now, there's a 50% or 60%. Divorce rate in America now is 60% or even more, as at the last time I checked. Now, when women divorce, guess what? In fact, 85% of divorces are initiated by women. So when women do that, they get custody of the kids for the obvious reason. And then almost all of what this man has worked for is given to the woman, to the woman. Now you think about it. As a man looking at marriage, staying in this part of the world, or having plans of maybe relocating and all of that, is that such a good venture? This is a lot of the reasons why men are shying away from marriage now, or that commitment. And so they're now using women as tools to give and you take, give and take. And that's how it's become. Now, one thing I should underscore is a lot of men, as just like men having, I think this goes to the next bullet point that we had on the flyer. Just like we women, we have a biological clock. So when I'm turning 40 and I've not been married and I've not had kids, it becomes worrisome. I'm thinking about menopause. I'm thinking about all of that. So think about it. If a man has been in my life and then suddenly that man just walks away, and with all of maybe what I've invested, maybe be there for him physically, financially, and otherwise, and the man is leaving me at the crux, at that point where I'm expecting, my expectation is at the maximum, you think about what that has on me. Now, this on the other side is what happens with a man. The men don't have biological clock, because a man can father kids at any age. Well, except for exceptional cases and, of course, those other negligible reasons why they cannot father kids at some point. But overall, Men can father kids, so they don't have biological clock. But what the men have, they have financial clocks. Just like you, a woman, get disappointed that a man has left you at your prime. In fact, at that point where you are at a decline. And you understand when I'm using these words. It is the same thing for a man. That financial clock is something. So a man is looking at financially, I must have established. I have people who rely on me. So it's a thing for a man. Now, this man has worked all his life, 40 and 50, and everything is taken from them. Now, women don't seem to consider the pain that these men go through, that it is even worse than the biological clock analysis that I did. Now, the man who is 50 years of age or plus, you're taking kids away from him, you're taking all of his investments. The next thing, he gets suicidal. That's what is happening. So and if you notice, most of these things, these crimes of passion, which is the next subtopic we'll be talking about, are usually done by the men. And you're asking yourself, why are men killing women nowadays? This is the summary of what I've just explained. And this happens especially. Now, like I said, we've copied this and it's happening in Africa as well. This accounts for why boyfriends are killing girlfriends. People are doing this and that is happening. But for the most part, this is what is happening. The men are so frustrated and looking at all of what they've lost, they're thinking, what's the point? What is the point?
Okay.
And that's it.
They're asking themselves what the point is. So this one says, oops. Let me take one or two messages and then we move on. Good evening, Mr. Leo. A special one to the guest speaker, please. I'm always blessed listening to her. I wish to have her WhatsApp contact because I need to learn some skills from her. Thanks. Lillian is requesting for your number. Can I share your number with Lillian Daly?
Yes, please. You can share my number. Just so I would always love, and I'm appealing to the team to put up my media handles, which is easily much more accessible. Yeah, and they can get much more on there because I teach on there on a regular.
Okay. Hello, Mommy Deli. Wow, what is surprise seeing you live today. Wasn't aware it's been a while. I've not been seeing your write-ups on Facebook. I don't know why. So, Mabel is writing from Yaoundé. Good evening to you, Mabel. We hope that you get reconnected with Deli so that you benefit from her rich teachings. Okay, a question for you, Deli, I don't know. Demeka, writing from Boya, says, good evening, sir. Please ask her if sex is a gift, something voluntarily transferred by one person to another without compensation. Do you understand where he's coming from?
If sex is a gift,
yeah,
it's not meant to be. But I mean, now it's what is being given. So if all you have is sex, then that's all you can give. And if they are willing to accept that, then it's fine. It's more like a legal tender. If we decide to accept that this is okay for exchange, then it's fine. I mean, we're going to use that. Everyone is going to use it like money. So if you accept it, first of all, if the person that's what they have to give, to offer, and you, the recipient, accepts that, then it is. I mean, but again, that's not the standard. That's not what it's supposed to be. But it is now. If you and I agree to that, if you get what I'm saying.
Okay, Mr. Leo, I had a young lady. I was thinking of taking her for a lifetime relationship, only for her to tell me a few days ago that she cannot be with a man who cannot take care of her. This is because she expects I should give her money each time she comes to my house. Okay, exactly the problem we are talking about here. Good evening, Mr. Leo, and your special guest, Mr. Leo. I really see with Miss Deli. I think if the government was having concern for its citizens, it would have been organizing workshops through the Ministry of Social Affairs and others to put many of our young girls and women on track. And this would have caused many to live a balanced mind. Greetings to Miss Deli and Mr. Leo. Please help me with her WhatsApp number. Victor is writing from Bomenda. Victor, I'll send you Deli's number. Deli, let's move on to our second topic for tonight, still relating to this love-related deaths. We're talking about crimes of passion. So many persons are dying, not only in Cameroon, but out of Cameroon. But the trend is increasing amongst Cameroonians and it's becoming scary. What would we understand as the motivating factor behind this growing death related to emotions or love?
I think I've so far explained a lot of reasons why these are coming. The answers are interconnected.
Yeah, but why now? Why now? The timing now. Every day we get this person dying, this lady dying, this one committing suicide, and a host of others.
First of all, before I forget, understand that this is scriptural.
Okay.
This is scripture. Like it's bound to happen. Scripture is clear about what is happening in these perilous times. It's quite clear. But if we get out of scripture and just say, let's look at it with the layman way of looking at it, because I know that this is scripture being fulfilled. But if we look at it like with an ordinary eye, if you want to look at like I said, the aftermath of war, it never used to be like this. If 6 years down the line, just like that, we never used to have all of these things. It was rare for you to hear that a girl will die because of this and that. A guy drank poison because of this. The trauma that this has had on the youth is far-reaching. Secondly, like I said, value system and then ignorance. Definition of love, soap operas, what people are watching in the movies. They want to replicate it. The belief that it is true that Angelo actually, Romeo actually died, and they want to replicate that. They believe that Jack actually sacrificed himself for Juliet, like that. And see, you will be amazed by what people read. The influence of the media. I cannot overemphasize this, and each time I come on here. Now we've gone to, if you've noticed, social is a digital world now, and social media has enormous impact on the youth, and whether or not we agree to this. And for the most part, it is negative. Or you'll be amazed with what is taught in the media. This is my office, I always say, I'm in this space. So I see the crazy things. And when this royal exodus has happened, there's this migration, and people have moved to places they don't even know. They're away from home, so away from home, away from at least the little parental training that, there's always that covering when the mother is there. They know what happens with the mother hen. Technically orphans, even when the parents are still alive. Now they're more like you're in a jungle and you have to fend for yourself. Anything goes. Now you have to look for yourself other teachers, people who can say things that look like what you want to hear. And guess what? The portal, as the best portal, is social media. The things that are taught in the media, the people who come out as influencers and what they propagate. Oh, it is only a matter of time, Mr. Leo, and you and I are acting in line of one mad person somewhere. All the trends that come, like I said, the power of social media, most often we downplay it. And that's why I always tell the people who follow me, be careful with the platforms you follow. You might think you are strong enough. You might think, oh, it's just a comment. You might think, oh, it's just social media. Wait until you look in the mirror and you see yourself, you see the replica of that influencer and whatever they were doing. Because it's subtle. It's not just like, oh, I'm going to change this lifestyle and this and this. As often as you look at it and look at it and become like it. So this is what is happening. They watch movies, they're looking at people who have died, and they're looking at the comment section, for the most part, with people behind keyboards who cannot even as little as raise their voices but they have this so much power behind these warlords behind keyboards. They are following comments, the things they encourage, they are picking it. And before long, they are practicing it. So you would see a girl would commit suicide and die, according to her, she's there. And there are people who would justify that, like, yeah, she had to. It is how she did. And guess what? There is somebody who would read that comment and think that's the right way. Now, this could look like they are extremes, but they are things that are happening. Otherwise, what accounts for all of this mess that is happening now? The media. It has opened portals, platforms, places we never could get to. Sometimes when we used to hear about all the, as we locally call them, Nyungu houses. We used to hear about all of these crazy, this spiritual art avenues.
Yeah, Delhi. What are you saying actually? You trying to justify why many ladies in Cameroon, in context, who are away from their comfort zones, away from their mothers, are exposed to what we are living, but we are also increasingly having similar cases coming from out of Cameroon, from the United States in America. We've had some cases recently. What would account for that?
The media is a global world. So everything I've explained accounts, it's also part of America.
Okay.
So from as well. And again, like I said, the men are beginning to fight back. I'm paused. I don't know if you can hear me.
No, go on, Delhi. You're on.
Can you hear?
Yes.
The men are beginning to fight back. There's such a thing. I explained this in one of my live shows. What is happening now? Empowerment of women. This world, the Western world, is such a capitalist world. And what I mean by that is everything centers around money. Everything is money. So money is a god, and everybody is chasing that money at a pace, at an alarming rate. So women are chasing and even having more than the men out here. So this is it. It's made the women now think they don't need the men. What am I doing with a man when I can afford every other thing that a man can provide? And I can even buy sex if I want to. That's it. So they are increasingly being empowered at the expense of the family cycle, the family life, the family unit. So the more money they're having, the more damage is causing on the kids and the family. Now, like I explained earlier, for those of you who were there, understand that now when you look at everything, the man is at a disadvantageous end. Because at the end of the day, the woman gets away with almost everything. That the law, the children come first, the women, then animals and plants before the man is considered. So the man is at the tail end of it. Now you think about it. This is not such a good deal for the men. They're beginning to fight back. They're fighting back and they're saying no to it. So when a man has gotten to that level where everything has been taken from him, what do you think? It's like it is this world literally has gone. They've taken custody of kids. They've taken everything he has worked for. Maybe he worked, and you know what a mortgage is? For a man to build and get to that level of having a mortgage, he's invested. More like an integral part of his life savings have gone into it. And maybe this is a man who brought the woman from Africa. He's counted this cost. And at 45, 50, 55, what energy is left in that man? Just like I was saying, at 40, 50, what are your chances as a woman to have a good man settle with and have kids? That's the frustration the man has on the financial side of it as well. This is the reason. And that's what accounts for majority of these homicides that are happening are orchestrated by the men out of frustration, period.
Out of frustration. Good evening, dear crew. I love this topic of today. What can be done to make women start reasoning in line with agape love so that the love is reciprocated? Ndula Ernest is writing there. Good evening, sir. Dying for someone in the name of love is due to greed. How would you want to possess a boy or lady to yourself? Most ladies do this out of greed because they can't stand the loss of the benefits they got from the relationship. Marriage doesn't make anyone complete. Ferdinand is writing from Douala. Good evening to you, Ferdinand, writing from Douala here. Delhi, we are talking about the fact that, okay, the men get frustrated, but are we not also into an era where there is so much cheating on both sides, where the women are almost threatening to overcome the rate at which men cheat today? On both sides, yes. Either it is the man that kills because he caught the wife with another man, or it is the woman that takes her life because she caught the guy with another girl.
Yeah, the cheating thing. I would say that men cheat. Let me rephrase what I want to say. It's crazy, man. Men cheat. Men do cheat, and women are smarter in cheating. Yeah. So we're talking about cheating. It's not just one-sided. I am a relationship counselor. I've done this for a long time, and I've gotten to the level of understanding that women cheat as much as men. It's just because they are apt at hiding it. Like a woman can cheat and get away with it, and you don't even suspect her. You get what I'm saying? She could cheat with as many women, but a man, there's always already that tag on them that, okay, they are prone to. So, you know, so men are cheating as much as women are cheating. This issue of cheating has gone out of hand. Like, it's just crazy. It is so crazy. I was having a conversation the other day, and we're talking about married women as well who have gotten into the cheating game. And because love was wrongly defined, it was a give and take, it was a business, it was all about money. They are beginning to see that was not love. And if I can have it, so what's the point? Now their reality is dawning on them that was literally prostitution. So they are coming out of that prostitution mindset and saying, I can fend for myself, because that's what is happening. And now they don't have need for their customer anymore, which is the man, if you understand what I'm saying. I was having this conversation, and I said, there is a fertile ground for cheating nowadays, especially even for the married women. Growing up, for a married woman to cheat was a taboo, an abomination. That man cheats, it was literally an abomination. The society even helped the married women not to cheat because we're tagged that as an abomination and all of that. But nowadays, it is very, very okay, quote unquote, to see a married woman cheating. Back in those days, a young guy would not even as much as chat up a married woman, because the basis of not having a relationship was just a married woman telling you, I'm married. And he would be like, oh, I'm sorry. They even got to apologize. They would even apologize like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know. Right now, the single men are very, very okay with that. Now, this is more like an enabling environment for cheating amongst married women to thrive. So you see, society has normalized cheating now, and it's a thing, and it's okay. You see, I say this not because I have a platform that, I mean, you and I see the cases that come on there. Then apart from those ones, the ones I have to handle privately, and the things I see, and I know that the family setup, the value that God attached to family, husband and wife marriage, has so been diluted by this capitalism and all the other factors, and it is this disaster. The rest is the disaster that you and I are facing. Yeah.
Okay, Deli, I'm sure you have some questions from our televiewers. Many of them have written. I'll take one or two. Hello, Mr. Leo. Good evening, and greetings to the guest, Speaker Deli. The issue of men killing women or girlfriends is really alarming, especially in the country Cameroon, because the women have taken men as their enterprise. And this mostly happens with our men, the youth, because they give in a lot in the relationship, but the women tend to look for another man. Immediately they see things start getting rough for you. Sebastian is writing from Bafusam. Good evening to you, Sebastian. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Thank you so much for this show. God bless the Miss Delhi. She is a blessing to the youth. A love from the United States of America. I have a question for the lady. Is social media doing more good or harm to our society nowadays? Delhi, please just take that down. I'll take more. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm Elvis, writing from Boya. I like to have that woman's contact. She speaks the reality. I need her advice. Okay. Delhi, you gave me an okay to share your number with those watching. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Thanks for always bringing us intelligent guests. Your program is very educating. Keep up the good work, sir. Is Mr. Mafal Herbert, writing from Bunamusa di Douala, not far from where we are. Okay, Mr. Liu, most of these girls dying because of boys these days are the lazy girls we are talking about. After enjoying the money these scammers make, they don't want to ever hear another girl is dating that same boy. Some of these girls are sold for rituals by those boys who go the easy way to make money. That's my research on this very issue, Mr. Liu. Ashu is writing from Bamenda. The question I want to ask Delhi now is, why is it that when serious men go for relationship with these ladies, they refuse but prefer these scammers who will use them and dumb? Okay, I hope Delhi has an answer for that because she's listening and talking with all of them. Blessed evening, sir. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm also a counselor, but limited in church. We love to grow to better the counseling, and we love Mommy Delhi. Mount me up, please. Can I have her contact? Okay, you want to say mold you up. Giselle is writing from Boya. Giselle, you can get to Delhi through the number I just sent. Good evening, Mr. Leo. Please, for Delhi's number, I really need that number, please. Casey is writing from Bamenda. Good evening to you, Casey. Good evening, Mr. Liu, and greetings to Delhi. Clovis writing from Yaoundé. I have a feeling that most relationships are not honest and genuine enough to tell each other what exactly they want from the relationship. Most of these cases come as a result of untrustworthiness and one-sided love. Okay, good evening. In the studio, it's Claire texting from Yaoundé. Please, I would like to have the guest's number. Delhi. Okay, you have her number there. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm Spiro Mark writing from Boya. Killing yourself or killing someone because he or she cheated takes spiritual understanding, because it's abnormal for someone to kill for someone. That can be resolved by both parties. Daddy, I don't know whether you took the questions. This one says, good evening, Mr. Liu. I love your topics of discussion. On Prime, your guests are always wonderful. Emmanuel is writing from Ebolova. I want to find out from your guest, do people grow in love or fall in love? And the difference between growing in love and falling in love, because I feel like the rise in love-related death is due to misunderstanding of love. Emmanuel from Ebolova. Yes, Adeli, did you take down the notes, and can you just shed light on some of the questions raised?
A lot of some of the things they asked, we've answered already.
Yeah.
Especially like the last question. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just add something before I even take down. There's a question I wrote here. Let me add something. You see, this issue of women collecting things from men, it happens a lot. So you see a young guy who, because sometimes we talk about the Western world and it looks like, okay, let's zoom it to our own setup in Africa. A young guy is busy sending a woman to school, paying her rent and every other thing, taking care of. Guy, for the most part, has not, maybe he's an illiterate or has not had a considerable level of education. Like, I mean, he's actually pushing this woman. Now, to this guy, this is my woman. I want her to be better in this aspect so that this woman can, all of these things, you know. And this woman goes to the school, accepts everything from this illiterate, because at the end of the day, that's the word that comes up, accepts everything, and then suddenly sees this guy as not fit or qualified to be with him. Now, these are the frustrations. We've had cases that the man gets frustrated at, like I always said, majority of these cases, these games of crime and passion stories are they orchestrated by the men. Why? The investment that they have had. And now some of the women, apart from the fact that, oh, you don't want them, levels of change and you don't want, the way they go about it. Now, you may be dating somebody, maybe of your level at that time, and put it in the face of this poor guy who has invested in you and all of that. See maturity or let go. Understand that not everybody is emotionally wired the same. We all cannot manage our emotions at the same level, at the same magnitude. Understand that not everybody is as exposed to have understood the other side or the repercussions. Or, in fact, if this guy is even an illiterate, this accounts for the reason why he's acting like that. Or better, it is just for this woman. And I made a post the other day on the page, and I'm saying, if you're not going to accept this guy, if you're not going to be with him, if you're not going to love him with his illiteracy, with his big hair, with his Ben trouser, Ben food, and all of that, do not take his gifts. Don't accept his gifts. You're not his sister. You're not his brother, his family member. So if a man is coming and giving you gifts, even when he says, no, I don't want, he has a target. He's hoping to woo you to get into your heart or into your pants, at least. So if you are not willing to go down that route, don't accept it. Because you start hearing excuses like, oh, I did not ask him to give me. If you did not ask him to give you, do not collect them then. Because I think young women have to be told these things. What happens for the most part is they come, they take it, they keep eating it, iPhone this, shawarma, ice cream, and the rest. And when it's payback time, they come up with excuses. And they want the entire world to back them up because, oh, they did not ask. No. You don't do that. These are one of the reasons that account for this thing. Somebody talked about scammers. Scamming now is also one of the aftermath or the repercussions still of the crisis. People used to scam or 419 and all of that, but it is now at an alarming rate because everybody is tilted towards the internet. So people are not just scamming money, they're scamming relationship-wise. Now, women are tilted towards nice things. They're drawn towards nice things. Scammers are known to have flamboyance, ostentatious lifestyle. Are attracted to those things. So what do you expect? They want that kind of lifestyle. They want that kind of thing. They want easy money. Scammers are known to be free givers, to be bon pay, or how do they call this thing in French? They pay well. Compared to you who is earning a salary of 30,000. Now, when the scammers have taken these ladies up to a considerable extent in terms of taste and style, that lady is not willing to go down that ladder. She's either looking for somebody that would, I said this at the beginning, maintain that lifestyle or at least lift them up. And you tell me, how much are you earning to cater for that lifestyle? So this is it. So when somebody asks why do women prefer scammers and they don't, no, they prefer the scammers because of the obvious reason. It's too obvious. Money. It has become a money war. Nobody is looking for. Now, one thing I should explain to women to understand that we're not saying that men should not give you money. If a man is giving you money, I mean, out of his generosity, benevolence, and all of that, yeah. But understand, like I said, it should only be a plus. For a woman who is working, a man's money is also just a plus to you. Or at least that's not where you derive your self-esteem. That is not it. Now, understand that enjoy money, the money you want to enjoy. you would have to help these men. That's why God says women are helpers. Now, the word for that helper, maybe English word for that helper, is incubators. Women would produce more. So if you are truly an industrious woman, whatever a man gives you, you would multiply. So then, if you want to truly enjoy it, help this man and make that money. Now, the problem is every woman wants a rich guy, a billionaire, a man that will spoil them. Why? They're looking at the influencers. This influencer got married to this man and took his family out of it. This and all of that. That's the standard. That's what we talk about social media. However, one thing we should understand is, if you can stand by this man, if a billionaire comes by you, you would hardly make it sustainable. You would hardly. Before long, you would lose that billionaire. You know what? You cannot manage. You don't have any investments. You don't have any financial management skills. You don't have any ideas on investment. You don't have anything. People are talking about stock exchange out there. You don't know anything. All you know is money for Peruvian hair, Brazilian makeup, and the rest. It's only a matter of time. This man knows you're a liability. There's nothing coming from your end. That's why beautiful girls who have these men, but they cannot keep them, because nobody wants to squander their money and keep squandering it. So no, we're not saying that you should not get the money or you should not be with men who have money. Can you manage the money? Can you reproduce it as an incubator? Can you make it double? Can you double? Can you be their money doubler in the positive sense? So you know, this is all of it. And then the other question you asked about, is social media doing good or more good or you know, to, I mean, we've explained that already. The consequences of social media. And may I talk on influencers? I made a post today, and of course the post will not go viral as usual, because the truth stares us in our faces. Do not underestimate the power of influencers. People can come and say, oh, you people make noise in the media, you just say things, you just say these things and that. What you, for those parents listening to me, what your daughters are listening to, what your sons are listening to, what they are following. That's why even your parental or whatever you're doing at home is amounting to zero. Because there is a stronger force that most people don't want to even accept. The media, the effect it has on us all. I mean, us all. It's becoming so addictive. If you're spending out of 24 hours, people spend 10, 15 hours, 20 hours, some even 24 in the media. Do you think before long they do not become like the people they are watching? No. So I was talking about influencers. There are people who come on in the media to truly influence in the positive sense of it. Because some people are just popular. They're not influential. But let's just say there's positive and negative influence. So we just call everybody influencer and influencer. And as long as you're passing on a message or you're doing something that is impacting another person. But one thing my mentor says, you can hardly influence people beyond the level of your own the quality of your own life. You cannot influence people beyond the quality of your own life. So it's like it starts from you. You look at people who are going through depression, who are into drugs, a lot, gambling and everything. Those are the people that are influencing the youths. What do you expect out of these youths? Gambling as well, drugs as well, prostitution as well. And guess what? It is being normalized. Now you cannot even have that conversation because they will tell you to mind your business, or it is their life, they're looking for happiness. These are the words, these are the sentences that you get in the media nowadays. And when you come now, they'll tell you you're holier than thou, you're trying to claim, you're trying to be perfection, you're trying to show that you are all of these and all of that. The things, parents are hardly in the media. At least the statistics shows that it's mostly youths that are using it. Even parents don't spend much time, even if they have to hop in and out. What some of your children are watching, I'm not just talking about grown adults, I'm talking about as young as the teenagers. There's need for scrutiny. I don't even know why some children have Android phones when they are not up to university levels. What are you doing there? Phones that you cannot even check. Now, the sites they are opening. In fact, about that. Yes, please.
Delhi, we're talking about the fact that many young ladies are taking their lives because they found themselves in wrong relationships. Same case for men who are either killing their fiancés or their wives alongside their lovers because they also found themselves in a wrong relationship, and this trend is increasing. Are we not also into what we are observing today, because many more persons are getting into the relationship at very tender ages? That is the age factor.
Where did children get to learn to get into relationships at tender ages? Media.
Mm-hmm.
The crazy things they see. The children are learning. That's what I was talking about before you brought in the question. Do you, as a parent listening to me, take out time to scrutinize the activities of your child? Just go get on YouTube and check the last things they watched on there. Get on Google and check on the last things they Googled there. Do you check all of that? You, as a parent who spends all of your time in the media, and then the children are getting to see some of these things is because of what the parents are teaching the children. So they have seen it. The latest gist, it is the parent that is showing the child. The latest nude, it is the parent that is showing that this is what is happening. It's a messed up world, Mr. Kum. It's so, everything has just so been messed up. But like I said, it is all thanks to this digital world where I can sit here now in the UK and I speak to you in Cameroon, where everything is possible. The problem is not even the media in itself, as in, I would say it's a good servant, but a bad master. So if you're using media for positive things, like people like, always mention his name, Javni Joybird. He's a youngster who is empowering. There's Augustine Tambe. These are platforms that you can go there, educate. I'm talking about men, but the men who seek to educate their fellow men, who seek to educate the young ones. But on those kind of platforms, you will not see traffic. You will not see people, youngsters going there to learn how to better myself, how to empower myself financially, how I can start up a business with 50K, how I can invest, stock exchange. What is Bitcoin all about? Let me know what it is and see how it is. What is so different about it? What does it mean to buy stock? They're not doing that. If you start up a platform and say there's betting on it, put the next second. That's where youth want. This .com syndrome. I want to do it now and get results the next moment. Youths don't want the process. They don't want to learn. They don't want to take time. Everybody just wants to start up now and become a billionaire the next minute. Or the shortcut, get married to the billionaire and become a billionaire as well. So it's all of these things, Mr. Kum. I can talk about them all day.
Okay, you can talk about them all day. We hope we create more time to be discussing about these issues. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I think social media is causing more harm than good to the society. I'm Claudine, writing from Yemen. They love the topic of today. Thank you, Claudine. Why we can do anything to please love. Love is not all about our money, okay? Good evening, Mr. Liu and everyone in the studio. I really love this program and topic of today, because it will really change the mindset of people and youths in our society. Chris is writing from Kumba. Good evening to you, Chris. Hi, Mr. Liu. Please ask Miss Deli if it is proper to marry a lady or guy you do not love deep in your heart, but because of one or two material gains or child is involved. Ferdinand is writing Delhi, we need to look at this. I'm sure there is somebody who wrote something similar to me this today during the day and asked me to paste it on my page so that he can learn from the reactions that will come in, but I've not yet done that. Good evening, Mr. Liu. This program is very educative and I wish to have the WhatsApp number of your guest. Ta is writing from Tiku. Ta, please, if you want Deli's number, why not just write to me on WhatsApp? Hello, Deli is such a good woman. From the way she speaks shows that she can be our advisor. I am Ate Wilson, writing from Limbe. Delhi, he's raising an issue, and I know many women and men live in that situation. You found yourself in a relationship with a lady or a man, and because of the assistance that you got from them, the love did not really grow. Remember, somebody asked earlier on whether we fall in love or we grow in love. And 2-3 years down the road, the love is not there, and you actually feel like it is a burden for you to stay in that relationship. But because of what you gain, material things, you find it difficult to part way. The other guy who wanted me to post on my social media handle says that he got into a relationship with a lady, and the lady was seemingly nice to him, but he tried for things to work out. There was no feeling. He is now with another lady, and actually loves this lady, has a child with this new lady and with the other one, and does not know what to do. Yes.
It's a lot. It's
They're
a
in
lot.
trap. And many persons are in that situation today.
Yes. Many persons are in that situation, and that accounts for the high level of divorces nowadays. It's a lot of people getting divorced now because they got married for the wrong reasons, and one of which is children. I got married to this person because we had sex and had a child, and then we might as well just, graduate this into marriage. Got married up, and then this person helped me out, and because of that, we might as well just get into it. People are not conscious. I try to purposefully define something at the beginning, and I hope that you people can go back to it and watch it. I've explained all of these things. So for you to ask that question again, if it's okay for somebody to go, because at the long run, it is not sustainable. This might sound cliche, but hey, it is still the way out. Get married to people's content, not the container. Content is everything. It's everything. That's what you would deal with. That's what you would live with for the rest of the time you would live with. You wanted to say rest of your life, but again, it doesn't last even 2 years now. Marriages barely even go past 2 years before they're already paid off. Because we got married for the very wrong reasons. Or, like somebody asked, if love can grow, because we are not intentional at working at it. See, marriage is a project. Projects are not just, they don't just materialize like that. You research, you invest, you put in the work, you spend time, sometimes sleepless nights. This is also a marital project. You don't just get married because most people are interested in the wedding. That's it. Because this question could just be, I could just spin it around to say, what is the difference between wedding and marriage? Because most people are just interested in the wedding, the flamboyance, the drinks, the dresses they will change, how they will pepper their gang, how they will show their exes that, oh, I am also married, how they will, all of these things. This is exactly what is happening. I think I'm not properly sat. That's why you see me. I think cameraman, please adjust my screen. I'm seeing just my head. I don't know if that's how I appear on screen as well. And I'm literally struggling, to get, because it's cutting me halfway. But anyway, I hope that's my screen. I was saying that it is for the wrong reasons that we're getting married, and that accounts for the many divorces. People are not purpose conscious. Why are you getting married to the person you're getting married to? Do they complement you? I sat the other day, and I think the Holy Spirit dropped this in my spirit. He said, when we get into a relationship, can you
get, I don't know how you are seated, but you are really lower on the screen.
I thought as much. Because I was trying to tell you from the beginning that I'm not comfortable with how I'm cut. I don't know, is that okay now?
Yes, it's better now.
Is it better?
Go on. Yes, go on. Yes, go on.
I was saying that the Holy Spirit dropped something in me just a few days back, and it was saying something like, when we're about to get into a relationship, right? We present the positive sides of us. We want to show that, oh, you can cook, you can clean, you can invest, you can do this, all the things you can do, and that's a good thing. But the Holy Spirit began to show me that the more of our is rather beneficial to us, because that's literally who you are. It is your weaknesses that actually get to the breaking of the relationship. Relationships don't break because of the positive things you bring on the table. Because, oh yeah, what can you bring to the table? That's usually the question that most people would ask. But what can you not bring to the table is also a question that we should be asking ourselves and answering. And what do I mean by this? Your weaknesses. If you present your weaknesses to people, like people really see you for who you are, guess what? It is either they would accept you for that, or they know that they can compliment you. I would accept you knowing that I can help you. You would present yourself as this angel, walk into a man's life, and then the side now of the demon is manifesting. That's what the man is living with. Or you present yourself as this guy who is a spender. So you meet a girl, first day you've bought iPhone, the next day you've bought this, and you've taken her to that pedestal. She's used to that lifestyle. And then the next minute you start telling her, oh, it was actually a borrowed car you saw me with. You think about it. I think that we've overemphasized on our strengths. The weakness side matters a great deal, because it is actually the weaknesses that break marriages and not the strengths, if you look at it keenly. It is actually the weaknesses. If people could be honest at the beginning of relationships, I know that honesty is a word that is almost extinct nowadays. If people can only be honest to say that, you know what, when I get angry, I scream, I shout, I flare out, and I can possibly be rude and arrogant. Can you help me out with that? It is a lot better than you saying, I'm this polite woman who is always poised and calm and collected, and you know, who will not fall in love with that side? Everybody would. But the people who would say, I would hold your hand in the process, I would help you go through therapy, I would help you with my compliment, with my own therapy, mellow it down with my own temperament, and I would help you with scripture, I would help you hold your hand and pray for you in this weakness that you have exposed to me. Those are marriages that will stand the test of time, because that test will definitely come. And yes, so I don't know, I forgot the questions that were asked, but I had to explain all of those things just so that I don't.
Okay. Hi, Mr. Leo. Please, for your guest number, keep the good work, sir. Love your programs. They are very, very educative. Thank you very much. Mama Sarah writing there. Good evening, Mr. Leo. Thank you so much for this program. I live with a woman whom we have a child already. The truth is there is no interest in the relationship in terms of feelings, but because of our son and the way she takes a good care of him makes it difficult for me to let her go, because she really wants to go as well. Deli, in this situation, there are no feelings. We are just living because we want, because of this child. She wants to go. I am also not into it. But because of circumstances, we should patch up. Can this last?
You cannot see. That's an emotional blackmail that you're doing. You cannot stay with somebody because of a child. Understand this. First of all, to be is it stay, can we stay, or marriage? Let's get it right. Because people just box this thing up and come out with, is it come we stay or is it marriage?
I wouldn't know. They just wrote, yeah.
Whatever the case, let us just say they're living together and they want to keep living together because of a child. It's not going to work. You are going to be so frustrated. Matter of fact, it's only a matter of time, and you're creating a toxic environment for that child. This child needs to grow up in a healthy space. There's no how you can pretend your way into being a perfect husband to this woman. It's a matter of time, and a matter of fact, you have been doing it. You think you are good at camouflage, hiding it. It's a matter of time, and this child would see it. Now, this child will now see the wrong way of treating a woman. That's what this child would. And this accounts for toxicity and how you see men who come from abusive home, for the most part, become abusive as well. Women who come from such homes become abusive as well. So you want to be honest with yourself. I think it's about time you sat her down and have a reasonable conversation. So for how long, first of all, ask yourself, are you going to continue like this? Because, hey, you will be cheating if you're not cheating already. You will be cheating. You are cheating on yourself. You think you're cheating already with another person? When you cannot give the emotions to her, it's a matter of time she too will start cheating. Now it's going to be a union of two cheats coming together and pretending under the umbrella of I was to take care of this child. If she is a good mother, she's not a good mother necessarily because you are there. If you die today, that woman will still be a good mother to her child. You are not a good father because of her. You're a good father because that is your default position, or at least you've learned to be a good father. It means that if you people are in separate spaces, you would still do an excellent job at that child, because the bone of contention here is not you, not the woman, it is the child. So you want to create a safe environment for this child to thrive. That's why we say people who are in toxic relationships, abusive marriages, divorce is an option. You heard me right. It's an option. Why? For the sake of these kids, so that they don't become intoxicated. Now, but the trick is, I hope that you don't want to separate from this woman for the wrong reasons. Because we can now use kids and give excuses just because of the child. But be sure that you don't want to leave a good thing that is in front of you while you're chasing shadows out there. Because there's usually that tendency. Or because she's had a kid and then she's maybe showing desperation, or she's shown you enough that she loves you, and then other women are flooding your box and running after you, and you think it's beautiful. You might be leaving a good and a beautiful wife for shadows. So let's be clear, and these are things I handle in details in private counseling, because I get to ask you questions, I probe more, I would love to hear from the other side as well, because this in itself will not do good, and not a lot good.
Okay.
And hey, I charge for private counseling, just so we know, just so that your coming know that I charge. Okay.
Okay. Eli, I'm expecting pictures, please. Don't know why Desmond is not in the studio. Mr. Liu, I must say your guest is really amazing. The way she analyzes her facts related to the subject matter of the day still baffles me tremendously. She is resourceful, and it is good to always invite her on pertinent issues. Please, for her number. Okay, I hope I'll send it to you. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I wish to ask your guest, can a phlegmatic, melancholic get married to a phlegmatic sanguine? No. Jules is writing from Yaoundé. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I am Nsungkikang Robert in Boya, love-related writing in our society, because the man most often doesn't meet up with love vows. When the lady deems the man and turns her back to engage in another relationship, the next thing is murder. A story is told of a man who sponsored a girl from the secondary school level to a postgraduate level, only for her to dump him and get another man of her match. According to her, he had to take away the girl's life and commit suicide. 2 lives gone because of love. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu, and venerable panelist. In recent times, it is glaring that people in a relationship who start out loving each other sometimes find themselves so burdened by stress and difficulty that they end up feeling feeling frustrated and in the relationship. Relationship is an art, and the dream that 2 people create is more difficult to master than one. In a nutshell, people must lay solid foundation during courtship to pave the way for a long-lasting marital union, without which it fails. Okay? Marriage is the real life after wedding, and so the foundation must be solid. Cliff, I was writing from Boya. Oops, so many messages. Please, you guys should be brief. Long live to my Media Prime TV. Long live to your guest, Mr. Liu. I thank God for you and your guest, and more blessings. I'm Kong Nui, writing from Bomenda. Good evening to you, Kong Nui. Good evening. Please, for Delhi's number. Okay, I'll send you Delhi's number. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Social media has caused more harm than good. Old men snapping the naked bodies and sending women who are also married. B. Roslyn writing from Tico. Good evening to you, B. Thank you, Biggie, and the guests in your program. She's expressing actual facts about social life and relationship today. Marriage today is a total scam perpetrated by women in a greater part. Does she agree? That's what is also scaring men away from it. Sama is writing from Guso in Yaoundé. Okay, men are afraid there's a scam. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I love your topic and the wonderful guest you have. Please, can I have her Facebook page details? Wilson is writing from Yaoundé. Good evening to you, Wilson. This one says, good evening, Mr. Liu. You have given the best of Cameroon feminine debate. I need the women, connection. Have you ever tried making up at the cost of a girl health care, eyelids, hair care for 5-10 years? Why not empower the girls to save for love, marriage if they need it? Cameroonian girls need adequate opportunities and needs available risk. Why is our Ministry of Women Education? I don't know what is the Ministry of Women Empowerment, not education, not incorporating men in women empowerment and message is not too clear, please. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I need your help. I'm a teacher by profession. I have a child I'm teaching at home, and the parent is paying 70K. The problem is the father of the child has 4 wives, and he said if I sleep with him, he will increase my salary to 90,000. To be at the safe side, I stopped teaching the child, but the mother did not understand why I stopped. What should I do, please? Winnie is writing from Amanda. Winnie, please just stay away. I don't know whether Delhi has something to add, but I don't know why you're asking that question. You know what to do. Good evening to you, Mr. Liu. I think many of these cases are due to peer pressure and the fear of being looked down on by the guy they have ended a relationship with, some little fear of being mocked by some friends they were trying to impress simply because the women want to have what they films. Okay, Akongwi is writing from Amanda. Some of the messages are not really clear. Delhi, we have just 5 minutes to go. I want us to use these 5 minutes to talk about what is also happening in our society. There is this growing urge in young ladies to leave what they watch and read on social media and mainstream media. They bring so much pressure on themselves, bring so much pressure on their husbands or boyfriends because they want to live what they see the guys in movies live. Or some of you influencers, what you guys project on social media, you live very large, so they want to lead these lives.
Yes, Mr. Kum. I think we've touched on that already. I'll just maybe buttress that. It's true for the most part. I listened to one lady talk about, these streets, if you want to learn. If you want to learn on the streets, you can. Nobody is forcing you. And I laughed because that was the height of ignorance. When you sit in these streets, unconsciously or consciously, you learn a thing or two. And for the most part, it's usually the negative things, because the negative things somehow are the ones that go viral easily. It's easy for you to see a trending post that is negative than a trending one that is positive. So understand that. And like I said, you as a social media user, be careful the platforms you follow. Be careful. But when we say this, some people would translate this to meaning, I want you to follow just my platform. No, if you feel like I'm negatively influencing, please don't follow me, just so that you don't learn the negative things that I'm going to be teaching. It applies to every other platform. Because at the end of the day, these influencers can only put out what they can put. But again, they cannot force you not to come to their platforms. The most they can do is block, and people want the followers, so they would leave most of them out there. They're doing this maybe for their money. Some of us come to this space and we put out the things we put, not necessarily because it ties with our value systems, but just talked about the betting thing today. And I said, unfortunately, most influencers have jumped on the bandwagon of betting. And we might as well use the right name. It is gambling. And we fail to see the positive sides of it, the negative sides of it. Now, it's projected of how you would win, you would get these bonuses, but we're not talking about how it's getting people suicidal, how it's getting people into debt, how it's crumbling youths, how it's getting them into depression, anxiety, how they're falling off, how they're getting off course. They're not talking about it. Now, social media is this place where everybody projects the glitz and the glam. Everybody shows the positive sides. Everybody comes out with their A game. Everybody comes out with polished pictures, perfect makeup, beautiful clothes, whether borrowed, stolen, or bought. They come out. They're putting all of these sides. And I say that understand that this space was initially meant for business and fun, to socialize and hang out. That's why you would get on social media and Mark Zuckerberg or Facebook itself would propose schoolmates that people the same alma mater and all of that. It is a place to network. This is why people should come to social media, see people, network, get opportunities, businesses, put your stuff out there, not for your private life, not for you to gain your self-esteem from it, because these are the things you're following. Now, if you do not wear the hair and the clothes and the things that are happening, the trends, if you don't use this particular kind of cars, if you don't, it is what you people are seeing. They show you the results or what they want you to see. Have they shown you the process? I said something earlier. Youths nowadays don't want the process. When you show them the process, it's always seemingly too long, or we don't want to go down that route, but they want the results of it. And that is the reason this accounts for why they are getting themselves in a lot of mess. If these social media influencers only get to show you what they do at the back of the scenes to get the money and to have the flamboyant lifestyles, you will respect your own parents. You will appreciate God for your level, and you will trust the process. They don't show you, do they? Some of them eat poo. They get to the level of eating poo. Oh, yes. Some of them have to sleep with animals. Some of them have to sleep with more than 10 men at a go. Some of them have to literally get into the occult to come out looking spotless. You have no clue the sacrifices some of these people have done. Be careful what you learn in the media or who you follow in the media. It is that crazy. So, I mean, it's 5 minutes, and I think I've taken more than that. I wanted to just summarize and talk about these suicidal cases, because we have just been perusing, analyzing, and, breaking it down. However, it would be a disservice if we don't talk about possible solutions to these things. And let me talk to the men. Bless me. Who get suicidal, or you're thinking you want to get into that because a woman messed you up. First of all, associate with men that have a quality value system. Men who are interested in going after wealth the right way, who have a huge sense of value on life itself. These are the kind of people you associate with. People who are purpose-oriented, focus. Because if something is not bigger than death to you, you would die. You and I are still alive because purpose is bigger to us than death. You and I sit here, we talk, we like this. Other people don't value this or what they're doing. That's why they've gone and killed themselves. If you have a sense of purpose, most youths are not purpose conscious. They just go about life doing whatever. But if you know what purpose is and understand that you are not here for self, you would hardly kill yourself for somebody. Oh no, you would hardly do that. So if you are conscious that when I die, there's a void, the people listening to me, that God has sent me for them, and I've not accomplished that purpose, and I'm going to die prematurely for whatever reason, it is not going to be worth it, even if a man disappoints me at the altar. So it is because of that, the lack of that value system, your entourage, the people you listen to, the things you see, that will make you choose death over life or over purpose. So just to understand that. And please, as this might sound cliche or religious, again, it is still true. Vengeance is of the Lord. You see, life in itself is complete. God doesn't need to punish us. The system and principles will do that. It has repercussions. If a girl messes up with you, she would meet her Waterloo. You don't need to fight for it. And this is a lesson I don't, it's personally for me. And I hope that somebody listening to me can copy this or can learn from this. I don't revenge. I don't. It's a waste of time being vengeful, because it's only a matter of time and that person will meet their Waterloo, and it's usually far-reaching than what they actually did. So if you understand that, you would leave vengeance for God, or you will let life take its course. Okay? And then for the young women, understand that, I was just talking to the men, that it is not worth it. You had the same hands you used in working money, God will engrace you again to work more. Okay? So just let her disappear or whatever. Let me talk to the young girls. Mr. Kum, I know that we are rounding up. Let me just round up with this. Men want women who would contribute to them and build empires. If you can hear me, when you come into a man's life, how can you contribute in making that empire grow? What is it that you're coming to make that empire grow? To build all of what you want. The luxury life, if you look at celebrities who are enjoying with their wives, they built it together. When you get into a man's life who is made up already, who is done, maybe had a wife, maybe divorced, when you come into that man's life, they don't really value you as such. Oh no, they don't value you as such. You are just a commodity. You are just one of his toys. He knows deep within him. Men are not stupid. Even the sugar daddies that they know you're coming, you're living like that, you can hardly be fulfilled, because your life is up or at the mercy of the highest bidder. So when your life is like that, you would always meet another sugar daddy who is richer than the other sugar daddy. And this is how you become a mess. And like I said at the beginning, it is low-key prostitution, or it is for prostitution in the private sector that most of you out there are doing. You are just looking for money to live large. Yeah.
Papa, good evening, sir. Prime R is transforming lives. I'm immediately blessed and inspired with today's talking point. Please help with the WhatsApp contact of our guest. Bless Clovis is writing from Bamenda. Please, I need her number. I'm in need of help, please. She's a good counselor and advisor. Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Leo. Please, for the guest number, please. Okay. This one says, good evening. We thank you for this day, and we bless you both for the program. Thank you very much. This one says, good evening, Mr. Leo. I'm Brenda from Yaoundé. Now, these women date for money or marry for money, which is not good at all. Okay, Brenda, good evening to you. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I love your program. More grace. Keep up. Anu Nzo writing from Yaoundé. Thank you very much. Good evening to you, Mr. Liu, and your panelists. I'm really enjoying the program, and especially your guest. She's so cool and speaks wisely. It's Kum Melissa writing from Yaoundé. Splendid night to you. Splendid night to you too, Melissa. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I love your program. To Mommy Delhi, it's a thumbs up for her. She's filled with a lot of wisdom, more grace. Please, for the guest number. Miranda is writing from Bamenda. Good evening to you, Miranda. Good evening, Mr. Leo. I love today's program. Sometimes I pity those who kill for love. Okay, you say, sir, please, I will need her number. Thank you very much for watching. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Thanks for the program of today. I came in late, but I'm blessed. Thank you very much. Oops. There is so many messages this evening. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I love your program. Thank you for that gladness. Writing from Bomenda. Prince is writing from Baturi. Thank you so much for educating us tonight, and God bless you. Thank you very much too for watching. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Your programs are just so educative and interesting. I think there is need for girl-child education by the mothers, because in some homes the girls are there like family saviors. Thus the girls tend to focus on any man that has money. Another thing is negative influence on social media has made girls to be dangerously materialistic. It's a sad situation. Bright from Ewane. Good evening to you, Bright. Stop the calls, please. Okay, Delhi, I will end here. Thank you for accepting to be part of tonight's edition of Prime Hour. We hope to have you some days again.
It's always a pleasure. I am happy that you always honor me. I find it, I'd say it's a privilege to come on here and talk about the things I talk about. And I'm always looking forward to having, you know, these invitations here so that I can transmit what I say in the media on mainstream TV. And for my delicious watching, do not forget, take a screenshot now. Let me pose for the camera. Take a screenshot. And please tag me on social media. My social media handles, which I always want that to be projected on the screen, so that those of you who are not following can follow, because it's a plethora of things we tackle on my pages. Okay, please, you're missing out on a lot. If you enjoy the program, please get to me on social media, because my WhatsApp is for private counseling and I charge for that. But it's a lot that I teach and I give for free on my pages. So you want to follow me, Delhi's Matchups and Counseling Services or Delhi Singer Official. This is just two of the many other platforms I have. So, but those are the main ones. Delhi's Matchups. So Delhi like Kelly with a D. Delta Echo Lima Lima Yankee apostrophe sugar. If you understand what I've said. Delta Echo DELLY apostrophe S. Delhi's Matchups, one word, and Counseling Services, or Delhi Singer Official. Okay. So yeah, shout out to all my delicious. Thank you so much, my Media Prime. Thank you so much, Mr. Kum, and thank you for listening. Thank you, everybody. I love you all from my heart. Bye-bye.
Thank you all for watching, and to you, Desmond and Eli for production. Thank you, Tabitha and Brian for supervision. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.